Now, here's your first alert weather update.
Well, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 10th. Meteorologist Henry Grof here, taking a look at, well, a nice warm forecast that we have been talking about over the past several days. It is finally here. However, unfortunately, it is not going to be sticking around for long. So we are going to get temperatures into the 50s for your afternoon. So going to continue to see plenty of thawing all across the region, which is going to be helpful, but also we'll have to keep an eye on some things. And then also that chance for some evening showers. That's going to be with a cold front sliding through. Then we do have more rain on the way that we're going to be keeping an eye on. That's not going to move in until around Sunday. So Valentine's Day plans so far should be able to be good to go on Saturday. So quickly taking a look at what we're dealing with those temperatures. So mentioned 50s today. They're not going to be around for long. We're back into those upper 30s going into Wednesday and Thursday. So we're still at least going to be seeing some thawing here as we get those above freezing temperatures. However, we have been talking about the ice along our rivers. You've probably been seeing pictures of the Ohio River still frozen over, now starting to become a little bit of a slushy mess with our warming temperatures. But we also take a look over here into Parkersburg, where off in the distance you can see that bit of a clear path being made by those barges coming through. But then the Little Kanawha River, that is still a layer of ice at the moment. And we're going to keep an eye on rivers like that. The Little Kanawha Hocking River is also another example of that potential because of these warming temperatures to get that threat of an ice jam. So what is an ice jam? Well, we'll take a look at this graphic very quickly. I'll pull up max full screen for you guys. So as we get to enjoy that warmer weather, that does mean the thawing takes place. So that ice on the rivers and creeks, that's going to start to melt and also then break away. So as the river obviously flowing downstream, that's going to be carrying these chunks of ice. And as we gather these chunks of ice, there is that threat of these chunks of ice to gather together and get stuck in one place along a river, whether it's in a tight zone for that creek or river or maybe a curve. And when that happens, we get that ice jam. So that ice starts to block the flow of the river and we get that minor threat of localized flooding. So like I mentioned before, the Ohio River is not going to be much of a problem because of how big it is. So you're not going to see ice jams there, but the Hocking River is an example, the Muskingum, another example, as well as the Little Kanawha. So just be mindful of the potential for localized flooding when it comes to all of this ice starting to break apart and slowly thaw away. But as we continue to get more above freezing days ahead, then that threat is going to continue to diminish. So really an issue for today and through the rest of the week. But as we continue to melt the snow away, that flooding threat in terms of that rain coming in this weekend, at the moment that's going to be minimal, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that as we move through the next several days. So that first system coming through, you see that warm front, that red line that's going to be sliding through, and that's what's going to help us get into the 50s today. Behind that, well, there's that cold front that's going to wipe that warm weather away. But again, we're still going to be looking at above freezing temperatures as we look at the next several days, with a bit of warming that's going to be taking place on Friday and even into Valentine's Day weekend. So that first round of showers we're going to be tracking, not going to be too much activity. In fact, that's why we're not concerned about any flooding threat from the rain we see today. It's mostly from that potential for ice jams that could exacerbate that potential. As you can see, by the time we get to around 6 to 7 o'clock this evening, there's those few showers. not a lot going on, and they'll be out of the way by the time we approach 9 to 10 o'clock this evening. Most of our rain is actually going to be developing mostly around the mountains and especially further down towards the south. And so we'll mainly stay with cloudy skies into tonight. Some snow flurries could be possible going into the day on Wednesday, but few and far between, just looking at mostly cloudy skies that day and still persisting with the same case going into your Thursday. But snow up into the higher elevations, that's where they'll see most of the activity for us. Nice and quiet, especially moving into your Friday. But we do have another system that's going to be sliding through, and so far model trends long-term wise have been more favorable in the activity starting to move in on Sunday. But there's still some uncertainty on that exact track that low is going to take place. So most of the activity staying down towards the south, but some of that moisture may start to lift in up towards the north and provide us that chance for some showers on Sunday. So any weekend plans for Valentine's Day? Saturday, A-OK. Sunday, you're going to be dealing with some showers there. And beyond that, moose out. Back to some quiet weather on Monday, and we may also start to reintroduce that warmer weather with highs back into the 50s for the start of next week, because the Climate Prediction Center is still giving us that high probability of seeing daytime highs still getting above those low 40s as we get through the second half of February. So some more good news for those who are absolutely tired of winter. So overall, looking at your day planner ahead, just try to enjoy those warmer temperatures if you're able to. We'll get highs into the mid 50s, but by 1 o'clock should be sitting around those upper 40s before that chance of showers arrive later on this evening. Again, time frame onset is around 7 o'clock, and then everything should be out of the way before 10 o'clock tonight. And then we'll see temperatures dropping by then thanks to that cold front. So tomorrow morning we'll be all the way back down to the low 30s, so slightly below freezing. Not looking at that threat for any ice developing as we get those temperatures below the 32-degree mark being a huge issue, but just be mindful of that for your morning commute tomorrow. Afterwards, looking at mostly cloudy skies, it is going to be a bit breezy, looking at winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Highs only into the upper 30s, but that period of colder weather, again, not as cold as the past several weeks, that's for certain. Not going to be around for too long. Friday, we'll be back into those low 40s. And then Saturday, right now we're looking at partly cloudy skies for Valentine's Day. So we're looking at nice quiet weather there before that rain arrives for Sunday. And then into next week, we're going to be starting off with partly cloudy skies with temperatures sitting around those low 50s. So hopefully some more warmer weather there. Right now, not expecting any snow to come back into the Middle Ohio Valley. So far, second half of February is starting to look a lot better than where we started off. But that's all I have for you guys this morning. I'll have another look at your forecast during our new newscast. And remember, because of the Olympics, this is going to be going on all of this week and next week. You can catch that over on our streaming platform. If you have a streaming device at home, all you need to do is download the WTAP app, or you can also watch it on your phone on our app there as well. Just look for the live stream, and we'll see you there at noon. So hopefully everybody has a great day, and try to get outside if you're able to enjoy those 50s. Have a good one, everybody.